yeah, this is not the kind of thing I would normally do, but I also just sat down and watched the entirety of that film with a group of friends, and ooh boy, do I feel like we were all cheated by it. Full disclosure, I am not the world's biggest fan of Harry Potter. I still haven't seen the entirety of episodes 6, 7, and 8, nor have I seen the original Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but I did borrow my sister's wand for a couple pictures, I did get my Hogwarts rejection letter as a child, and I am familiar enough with Harry Potter to know what did and didn't happen in the later ones, as well as following the actors afterwards. So while I am not a diehard fan, I do still know enough that I was interested in watching this sequel. In all honesty, that was probably my first mistake, because going into it, I didn't know who or what Grindelwald was, and thought that he was a character they created specifically for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as some sort of animal poacher type character. I didn't realize he was some sort of dark wizard until the film got going, but even then that was one of my least concerns with the film as a whole. The entire film felt like it was essentially one large exposition scene, and by the end of it, when I saw the time, I couldn't really believe that it had only been 2 hours. It simultaneously felt like I had been there for 3 or 4 hours and only a single hour, cause nothing substantial happened throughout the entirety of the runtime. I mean, sure, there were people who did die during the film and there were other events that happened, but none of them really felt substantial enough to warrant the runtime. To give you an idea of how boring I found the film, during the film and at the end of it, I started doing a running count of the number of fantastic beasts in the film and the number of crimes committed by Grimwald, or not Lord Voldemort, and found that there were only really 2 or 3 fantastic beasts, maybe 4, that were explained as to what they were and where you found them in the briefest sense possible, and that Grimswald himself committed 2, maybe 3 crimes with murder, attempted murder, and escape from prison, with all the rest being carried out by his henchmen or other people in the film. Adding on to that was the fact where I had to debate with myself the entire time if the villain was just Johnny Depp playing a role, which I got confirmation of at the end, since I literally went into this blind. And keeping in mind that I went into this blind, I guessed who exactly that kid is who's the orphan before they even revealed it and acted like it was a big twist. Like, ooh, is it? That leads into another frustrating element with this film, which is I think J.K. Rowling forgot how exactly she wrote her old characters, because all the characters who come in who are the old ones don't really feel the same way like they did in the films before. Now granted, that could just be nostalgia blindness talking, or me not having seen those films in a while, but still, all of the old characters who actually tied into the original films, I guess, just felt like they were put in there for the sake of existing. Speaking of for the sake of existing, that ending. Seriously, that ending came completely out of nowhere. I had absolutely no investment in it whatsoever, beyond just looking at the special effects and going, yeah, that would be a cool boss fight in a game maybe, but why is this in a film? And then it just leads off with a cup of tea at the end. You know, not having an actual confrontation with the villain proper, but no, a blue magical storm that'll destroy all of Paris and completely go against the main villain's message of, oh, I want the muggles to stay around and be my beasts of burden, but you know what? No, now I don't now. I just want to kill them all. Because evil. I will, however, say that I probably had more fun with this film than I would have normally with the group of friends, since this film is on the riffable side of things. Like, you have no idea the number of times I've managed to reference "You're my brother, Anakin" during this film for all the dramatic scenes, the dramatic tension, and so on that regard, this film is really fun to just mess around with, but as a film on its own, I still really don't get it. Well, besides it existing for money. Honestly, if they were going to go the prequel side of things, I would have liked to see something about, like, Harry's parents being in the school, maybe something about the wizards who founded the college, or maybe even doing 13 films about the 12 years in Azkaban. Like, I'm sure you could have something fun happen in each of those years, besides endless torture. Who knows? I personally don't recommend this film unless you're looking for something to go and riff on. But then again, I'm also someone who hasn't seen episodes 6, 7, or 7 Part 2 of Harry Potter, or even the first one of these films, so maybe missing out on that means I missed out on crucial information to the rest of this. I really doubt that would change my opinion, but who knows. This has been That Man Over There. Thank you for listening to me ramble about this film, and have a nice day.
I feel on top of the world, metaphorically. Though I could go there if I wanted to, but I don't. So just leave us alone, okay? Now you see me?